No more IRS. It's done. Finished. Kaput. Really? Not yet, but we're getting there. All right. The announcements today, huge. All right. If you don't follow my friend Aaron Slowey, you should. The Bloomberg reporter. The report today, and the report I'm getting from my friends who are now heading out the door on Thursday. I think she's spot on, and that is 50% of the IRS is expected to be gone. All right, this year. That is huge. Now, again, what does this mean? We've got service centers being yanked, the taxpayer assistance centers, offices being closed. I think it's a good thing. Um, so consolidation, savings. Are we going to have a complete fucking shit show for taxpayers? What about tax pros? What is the government going to look like? Let me break it down for you. So, again, the positive stuff, tax savings. I mean, tax meaning for all of us who are paying for this, right? Fewer offices, consolidated, right? I'm assuming we're going to see an improvement to the online portals, the ability to deal with the government directly, and the government's going to make it easier. They just did yesterday by announcing a simple installment agreement. It's actually nothing new. What they did, though, is they took off sort of one of the constraints, making it a little bit easier for revenue officers to just set up a payment plan. All right? It was the same before, but again, it was a little constrained. They took the constraint off. Not a big change, but I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think we are going to see the IRS become more pragmatic. They're going to do things to make it easier to settle a tax debt. I mean, I'm going to break all this down, but the good news is, between me and you, just because of the way I feel about you, this had to happen. Now, again, my own personal opinion, I would have preferred it to be a bit more surgical. I would have done this like over 5 years because of the negatives that I'm going to break down for you, which, again, if you're somebody with a tax issue, is going to be a huge problem. So, the good news, we're going to be saving a lot of money on staff and overhead. The government is going to invest more in the online portals. They're going to make it easier to get into a payment plan. So this simple plan that they announced yesterday, if you were dealing with a revenue officer in the field, you could do what was called a streamlined installment agreement. If you owed $50,000 or less, could full pay within 72 months, or the time left on the collection statute, whichever was shorter. No financials necessary, automatic, bingo, done. Well, yesterday, they announced a new simple installment agreement. Again, for individuals only, 50,000 owed or less, but you can pay it with whatever time's remaining on the CSED. They took out the 72 months. Oh, and no managerial approval necessary. Meaning, we're not slowing this up, waiting 3-4 days for a manager to review it. No, nope, automatic, done. You know what that is meant to do? Hey, revenue officers, stop foot dragging this stuff and let's just get it closed. Now, here's the issue. Most cases in the field with a revenue officer are not 50,000. They're big dollars, payroll tax cases. That's what the revenue officers get. So the biggest dollars, most difficult cases go to the revenue officers. The rest are all dealt with through automated collection. At automated collection, they're much more flexible. 250,000 or less over the time on the statute. So you can really, that's a game changer. It makes it simple to call, get somebody, and set it up. So why am I bringing this up now? Well, we just fired 2,000 ACS employees who answer the phones. So it's going to be much more difficult to do that, and you cannot set up that 250,000 or less through the online system. It won't handle it. With the field, they've made it easier for these small streamlined agreements, but how many are they doing? So, it's one of these, it's kind of a wink, nod, yeah, we're trying to be helpful. I'm not seeing it make a major impact. Why am I concerned about all this? Well, look, if it's me and my clients, I don't really care, right? I know who to call at the IRS. My clients are paying me. We're much more familiar with the system, and I'm going to get things done. But if you're somebody middle income or less, you probably owe under 50,000. For these folks, it's easier to go to an IRS walk-in center or call and get a human being, let them talk them through it over the phone and get into their agreement and all that. But we just got rid of 2,000 ACS employees who answer the phones, and we're closing over 110 IRS offices, many of which house the taxpayer assistance centers. So for those folks who are not, they're not going to hire law firms to help them or big CPA firms. They're going to try to do it themselves. This has just become exponentially harder for them. And that's my concern. Again, 50% of the IRS would be gone just through attrition over the next 5 years, just natural retirement. So I feel like our friends, Mr. Trump, Mr. Musk, and actually President Trump, Mr. Musk, and the Doge folks, they're expediting it, but it feels to me, and I'm not defending the IRS, I'm going to get all the comments, oh, you love the government. No, I really don't. But it feels very rushed and hack and slash to me. I'll give you an example. Excuse me. So here's the thing. We're moving to automated enforcement. They're just going to do more through automation. The IRS is not going away. Now listen, it might be called the External Revenue Service. They might be also administering the tariffs, probably will. But it's not going to go away completely. It will be changed, and again, give it 5-6 years, it may very well be better. But getting there is going to hurt. So let me give you an example. Prior to the pandemic, it would take you about a year to get to an appeals officer. So you get these automated notices called a CP 2000. You would submit documents. It goes to some campus somewhere. No one ever seems to read the stuff. So out comes a notice of deficiency. You have 90 days to file in tax court. The client doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to hire a lawyer. So he's on the phone, right, trying to get to somebody to help him. And once that notice is gone, it's statutory. There's no rescinding it. It's gone. It's out. So it goes final. Now these people owe money. And they can do audit reconsideration. There's some other things. They end up trying to get to an appeals officer. Before COVID, that was about a year. During COVID, it was over 2 years. And I know people are complaining about the budget and the Democrats and whatever else. Let me tell you something. Right now, an appeals hearing in under 5 months. It's been great. Now, the training of the appeals officers may be a different issue, but that's another video. But we could get to a human being. All the people they hired, and many of whom, because at an appeals level, you need trained people. You either have to grow them from the ground up, which takes years, or you hire them. And they hired them from large accounting firms, law firms, trained tax lawyers who could step right in, a little bit of training, and they're off and running. I know, I've had hearings with some of them. They were quite good. I'm dealing with someone else who understands. And we could get right to the issue, and we would normally get it worked out one way or the other. They're gone. Let go. Because they're all within 3 years, and that's their probation period. So they're all history. So many of those people also got sign-on bonuses because there's no way you're going to attract them to the government otherwise. So we just invested, the American taxpayers, just invested a shit ton of money in finally getting the people we need, and now they're gone. Now, again, bear with me. 5 years, I think this is all going to get worked out. The automation is going to get better. I think you will have fewer cases going to appeals because people will be able to deal with it. A lot of cases go to appeals because there's no human being to open the stuff and review it. You know, and so the automation, the way it works now, I think it's going to get better. Oh, I'm hoping these tech bros can make it better. I mean, I thought that was the whole point of bringing in Elon Musk and all of his Doge folks, is this is supposed to be the new crop, you know, forward-thinking tech guys and gals. No offense. We're going to get there eventually. It's just going to hurt. And so for you guys who are accountants, CPAs, enrolled agents, attorneys, we're already slammed with business. I got 9 new calls yesterday looking for help. We're going to just get busier and busier. And here I'm putting on my I'm going to put on my pro-liberal, if I have one, hat. I'm more concerned for the middle income, lower taxpayers who are now between a rock and a hard place. You've got the automation. You know, you get these CP2000s, you respond, no one does anything. You're now in collection. Automatic levies, automatic liens, their lives can be destroyed. Really. And if you've never been involved in that, it's ugly. It can lead to divorce. I had a client commit suicide about 20 years ago over it. You're talking about destroying people's lives, especially if they don't even know it, it's a mistake. Since then, the government, for better or worse, has bulked out, but there are all these protections. Again, it can be handled, streamlined, all of that, but we're not there yet. And I'm very concerned in watching that start to happen over again. That in our attempt to become more efficient and really streamline this the way it should be, they're just not going to do it in 12 months. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I don't know. So listen, for those of you, what's my lesson today? If you're a taxpayer and you have an issue, get on it now. I know you might think, well, maybe the government won't bother me. Maybe they'll go away. It's automated. And if you wait long enough, you're going to have a real problem trying to get it unsorted. When you're under the gun, they whack your bank account, they garnish your wages. If you're a CPA or an EA or an attorney, oh my God, do you have a business opportunity? People need help. All right? You don't know what you're doing, you need training. That's what Tax Rep Network's for. We're happy to help you. All right? Build a practice, help people, create an entirely new revenue stream. But we are going to see, it's going to be very challenging times, and not just in the tax world. I think you're seeing the news. It's going to be everywhere. Called growth pains. But it's going to be painful. All right? So, wrap this thing up. Do I think the IRS is gone? No. It is going to be drastically reduced and drastically different. I'm hopeful it'll be drastically better. I just don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. All right? So these are almost becoming daily updates because I can barely even keep up with the news. But look, guys, feel free to comment below. I enjoy reading the comments. Whether I agree or not, it's good for us to be talking about this stuff. I mean, whoever thought taxes would be interesting? If you like what we're doing, do me a favor. Hit like and subscribe. Share this with other people. Put it on social media. If you want to take this and you can monetize or whatever, go for it. You have my permission. The only thing I'd ask is you give us credit. You'll link back to us. But otherwise, feel free to use any of my stuff. We appreciate your tuning in and sharing it. And I got to tell you, we're going to really live to see interesting times. So anyway, Eric Green from Tax Rep Network, thank you for listening in on what I'm doing. Please comment, like, share, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.